Hello, I'm Matt Hinckley and I'm an Upper Key Stage 2 lead. Today we're going to discuss how we can effectively elicit evidence of learning in Key Stage 2 classrooms. It's about moving beyond formal summative tests to a continuous process of understanding of what our pupils know. We'll explore this through the lens of influential research and see how these principles can be put into practice. So what does the research say? There's no better place to start than Rosenshine's principles for instruction and how they link with other researchers. He recommends starting lessons with a brief review of prior learning. This acts as an effective retrieval practice, which has been shown to improve long-term retention of knowledge, and as Sweller highlights, frees up working memory to absorb new information. He also talks about asking a high volume of questions to check for understanding. This is a form of formative assessment that can be done quickly with tools like hand signals or mini whiteboards, as suggested in Lamov's Teach Like a Champion. He also talks about how we should aim for a high success rate, around 80%, to confirm that our pupils are learning successfully. Although as Sherrington notes, this is a benchmark to achieve over a series of lessons, not in a single session. He also discusses modelling and scaffolding and how they provide a clear step-by-step pathway for pupils. Learning is shown by observing how pupils apply each individual step as they progress from I do to we do to you do. This allows the teacher to see exactly what part of the process a pupil may be struggling with and intervene at the precise point of need. However, we need to be prepared to assess our pupils' knowledge. An effective teacher cannot go in blind. As Lemov argues, there's a crucial distinction between planning a lesson and preparing for it. Planning may be the same across classes, however each class has different pupils. Being well prepared for the specific pupil you have in front of you frees up your own working memory. This allows you to respond flexibly and be better placed to assess their knowledge. That assessment is key to identifying what our pupils know, particularly formative assessment. Black and William identified this as one of the most powerful tools the teacher has. They suggest three key strategies. Firstly, building a culture of success, where feedback is focused on improvement rather than competition. Secondly, promoting pupil self-assessment so they understand their own learning journey. And finally, designing tasks and questions that allow students to show their understanding while being open to unexpected answers. That task design is the final piece of the puzzle, which Buell, Greenstein and Wilstein have explored. They recommend a low threshold, high ceiling approach. A low threshold means all students, including those with additional needs, can begin the task. A high ceiling means there's enough stretch and challenge for your most able students. Effective tasks are also transparent, so students know exactly what's expected of them. You also need to consider the cognitive aspect. What higher order skills, habits, and knowledge will this task help students develop and demonstrate? And as Rosenshine's principles remind us, it's vital to provide those scaffolds and models to ensure every student can access these tasks and has the same opportunity to showcase their learning. Let's see how a Year 6 teacher, Mr. H, can use these principles in his daily teaching, starting with participation ratio. At the start of each writing lesson, Mr. H asks students to take out how many whiteboards. He gives a clear instruction. Please write down the three subordinating conjunctions we learned about yesterday. You have 30 seconds. And show me in 3, 2, 1. He's then scanning the room, checking every pupil's response. He quickly spots a few common errors, such as a confusion between subordinating and coordinating conjunctions. Why does this work? This aligns directly with Rosenshine's principle of daily review and Lemo's idea of a high participation ratio. By having every student respond, Mr. H gains immediate, whole class evidence of learning. He can see who has successfully retrieved the knowledge and who hasn't. And this quick, low-stakes assessment also allows him to identify common misconceptions, for example spelling errors, that need to be addressed for the whole class before moving on, thus fulfilling Rosenshine's principle of checking for understanding. Scenario 2. Lesson preparation. Before a complex history lesson on the Roman invasion, Mr. H creates a script for himself. It includes reminders to use specific vocabulary like legion and centurion. He also plans turn and talk activities, where pupils discuss why the Romans were so successful, and notes with his pre-planned back pocket questions or BPQ to support students who may need additional help. For example, if a pupil says they were good at fighting, he has a BPQ ready. What specific things make those fighting so effective? Why does it work? This scenario is a clear application of Lamov's ideas on lesson preparation. The pre-planned turn and talk activity is a form of formative assessment designed to elicit evidence of people's conceptual understanding in a low-stakes, collaborative setting. The scripted questions, particularly the back pocket questions, are a targeted way to probe for deeper understanding and receive specific evidence of pupils' knowledge and reasoning. as recommended by Black and William in their discussion of formative assessment and flexibility in questioning. Mr. H would not be as effective as eliciting this knowledge through this questioning if he hadn't already prepared what he was going to ask and when. Scenario 3, active observation. Doing independent work on long division, Mr. H circulates the classroom with a clipboard with fully worked out answers. He's not just looking at the work, he's actively watching for common errors and misconceptions. He spots a few people making the same mistake. They're failing to complete the subtracting remainder, which is causing their subsequent calculations to be incorrect. He immediately brings those students to a small group table for a quick recap and guided practice. Why does this work? This is a powerful example of Lemov's active observation technique and Black and Williams' emphasis on real-time formative assessment. The task itself is designed as a multi-step procedure that is people thinking visible, as per Buell, Greenstein and Wilstein. Mr. H is actively eliciting evidence of a specific error in real time by observing the steps of the process instead of waiting for a final product. He has identified a shared error and intervenes immediately, preventing those misconceptions from becoming embedded, fulfilling the core purpose of formative assessment. So what are the key ideas? Eliciting evidence of learning is a continuous process. It's not just about formal summative tests, but it's about daily intentional practice. The how is as important as the what. The techniques you use, from mini whiteboards to active observation, are critical for gaining a clear picture of people understanding. Effective assessment requires thoughtful preparation. Planning people responses and potential errors frees you to focus on the children in front of you. Proactive intervention is key. By identifying and addressing misconceptions in real time, you can prevent them from becoming embedded. Thank you very much for listening to my presentation.